Alright, greetings everyone. It is I, Umbraze, and I never smile. If you ever do see me smiling, which is impossible because there is no footage of it, please do report me in the comments section below, and the fun police will come and get me relatively quickly. I would like to thank someone for pointing out that there was smiling happening and that it needed to be stopped. But hey, we're here to talk about both global and JP news today because it is news day. And I do like it when the news lines up because it's just very convenient. It's just very convenient to make a video. So let's talk about it. And first of all, we're going to talk about the most important thing. We're going to get this really quickly out of the way. First of all, new arena map. Not too much to talk about there. Second of all, class match. Now, this class match that's going to be happening is only noteworthy for one really big particular detail, which is the 220 cost or lower on units. For some people on global, you might be like, whoa, that seems really low. Keep in mind that we recently got Slime, which is a 20 cost unit, and I kind of love the idea that we're just throwing this kind of thing. Like, you can use two like super 100 cost characters, but you're gonna have to throw Slime in there. So there's probably gonna be lots of bouncing baby boy slimes everywhere, and that's cool. But that's entirely 100% unfun and not worth any kind of jolly making about. Next up, Ibara's book will be coming. It is farmable. I am expecting this to be one of the sources that Ibara ends up getting some buffs off of, or to be a little more in line with current JP powered standards, but I'm not expecting too terribly much, and I think it'll be roughly a similar situation to Elena when she came out, and I'll talk about that in a second. Slime will also be getting its final upgrade, speaking of which, to do with the limited cost class match, and that will be a job level 25. After that, we should be done. This looks to be reducing a little bit of an AP cost, so nothing too terribly major or interesting, but hey, it's kind of nice. Well, it does look like the damage does get a little bit of a change, although it's not highlighted, so okay, guess we'll find out really quickly about how good it is later. Next up, starting this week, will be another story, part 2, Void and the Darkness. And what's cool, kind of a little bit cool, not happy or joyful, is this, which is not working right now. Yes, here we go. So the JP side has actually opened a website even for another story part 2, which goes to show just how impactful the Warrior of the Crystals and Another Story has been on the game. It's just kind of a really big moment. This is a fun event. The designs are great, the characters are great, the story is great, and the story looks to be even cooler with our upside-downy, unversed Kingdom Hearts guys that are in here. There isn't too terribly much to the website, but I really do like just the acknowledgement that this is a cool event and a pretty major event, and yeah, so I'm just ecstatic, really, about the fact that Void in the Darkness is getting some attention. And really the only other thing to say is that part 1 will feature both Rafu as well as Perene majorly, and will also feature, looks like, Lucio and Jaden. So Jaden getting a little more attention in the story, which I'm sure some people will be happy about. The reason that I went from this to this to this to this is because this is interesting. Now, I would like to note that both the Vision card and our new character are launching the same week on JP. And this just doesn't happen ever. Like, legitimately, this never happens for JP. We do not see a character and a Vision card really come out that often, if ever at all, except for maybe collaborations. But this is essentially a Wotv/FFBE unit coming over to JP, and I think this might be a little bit telling of what will be coming next week, because it's not necessarily a Vision card. It could be just a thunder-based vision card. However, given that another story is this week, and potentially it looks like there's quite a few amount of stuffs lined up for October, with like Halloween Lucia, for example, potentially an Adelard, although I think that's way further out if I remember correctly, and Reagan, it does kind of point to the fact that this could be another story character that will be coming out the following week. So let's talk about Ibara. Ibara, I think, will be very similar to Elena's launch on JP. That she will be influential and that she will definitely have a place and influence what teams are being run in Arena and all of that, because she's new, she's interesting, and she'll be fairly powerful when she comes out. I'm not going to say that she's going to shoot the moon on JP, because there have been a lot of characters that have come out that are really strong for JP that have kind of pushed using some characters another. I think that Ibara generally looks really cool because she's a demon and she's good against humans, and all of that is really interesting. But honestly, I don't expect any real too terribly major buffs for her in anything really maybe than her equipment. And I think that within the first month or so, she'll probably fall off because more impactful characters are coming. And that's not being mean. It's just the fact that we are right before the 3rd anniversary. Last year, for the 2nd anniversary, we didn't get any kind of new power tier for characters so much, which kind of points that probably we're going to get this one, get a power spike this year in the form of some new power level that we need to obtain. Not 100%, but it does kind of feel like that. So for people who are like, well, you just don't like Ibara, or it's a global unit. No, not necessarily. I think that she is a cool unit. I would like to spend resources on her. But, I mean, the Warrior of the Crystals just looks so much cooler. Same with the Void characters. Same with the potential of Reagan. I think that there are much stronger characters on the horizon that will be much more meta-defining. So for JP players, I mean, Ibara definitely benefits from a lot of the stuff we currently have, especially the Blade Soul improvement recently. But I think there's just too many high-profile releases come up for me to really recommend her, and I won't be pulling for her. If I do get the unit, because she's not limited time unit on JP later, I will definitely build her because I think she's really awesome. But outside of that, much to talk about. Now, this is something worth talking about. Another vision card in a short time span. It actually looks quite impactful. Now, I'm not 100% certain because I didn't look at the global vision card before doing this video. It doesn't really matter. This is a JP video for the most part, and this vision card is the JP version. But it is no longer, if it ever was on global, a Thunder Elemental vision card. What we are now looking at is a job-based vision. The specific unit attached to this card will get magic attack up and AoE range resistance effectively up. As for the party ability will be giving missile resistance up, which is pretty good considering that most of JP right now feels very much like a ranged meta and trying to counter a ranged meta. Maximum HP up, and for level maxing the card, Human Killer up for magical attacks. Now, what's also interesting about this is the general job combination, as this is a job-based vision card. Now, the jobs here are, like, here's the thing. Job vision cards always make me ask, okay, who exactly is the party that this can potentially get, and how can we also combine some elemental bonuses in here? So great sword, spear, gloves, and book. And honestly, I can think of some really, really good parties for this. Greatsword does lend itself to Velric potentially going into it, or you know, some other greatsword users in other elements. I won't necessarily, like, there are many possibilities I think with greatsword users being thrown in this, because they are still getting missile resistance and HP up, which is generally pretty good on a party ability from another source. As for spears, you look at someone like Victoria, or let's see, Oberyn, or I'm just trying to think, what's the Thunder selection unit that I don't actually have finished? Vern. All three of these characters are potential possibilities. In gloves, you look at the Thunder element, which has the new Summer Helena. You look at Darvel in darkness. You look at Zoma in ice. And last but not least, when you talk about books, Balrus / Bareth, depending on which version you play, or Ruel in the earth element, this is actually a really, really good vision card for a lot of different reasons. The human killer up on max is probably going to be enough to be relevant. And remember how I was saying that ice had a potential other damage type? Here it is. This is another piece of that puzzle to potentially push ice away from that and still give it a good matchup against its other ice strong counterpart, which is rain. I have to say, I really, really like the look of this vision card thus far, and might even get me to pull. I mean, it's not a limited time vision card, so there isn't really that much of a hurry, but the vision card looks really, really good. Just the combination of all the things that it has right here with I can actually see multiple different teams and multiple different elements that this can go for. I feel like this can potentially work with different characters and still work fairly well with some physical characters matched in, and you can just combine with elemental bonuses to get some nice just value out of it. Honestly, I think that this is a really strong vision card. Even if I don't recommend Ibara, I think that her vision card looks really good. But with all that being said, I do think that this is a little bit strange that we're getting both of these the same week with another story also happening. Now, another story character, there could just be another vision card next week. But I'm going to go so far as to say that Rafu might just show up next week, JP, and that would be a little bit difficult for some people who spend resources. That does make me question what will be coming in the beginning of September, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. Remember, Tokyo Game Show is this weekend, so, and they have already said that there will be new information there. So it could be a new character, it could be a new collaboration, it could be all sorts of things. So stay tuned for that. All right. Now, last but not least, I am going to talk about global just for a second. That's not global, that's something entirely different. So global this week is getting a bit of a rerun with winter units and the Sheraton. I can't think of a joke for that. The Sheraton Vision card. The Sheraton Vision card I've already recommended. I think it's great if you are even a little bit remotely interested in Earth and you have Ruel or oh my god, I blanked on her name. Gilf. It's not just the Macherie card, the Queen Macherie card. It can be used for other characters to pretty good success. I like this vision card. I've gotten good uses out of it. And it is definitely one of the things you want to make the Earth element stronger. So yes, this is a vision card, and as we've seen with the way the JP card is, that could potentially also work into the Earth element to give them a source of human killer and up Earth's damage while keeping all of Earth's defense. As for the winter units, well, I'm not a winter unit expert. I really don't have that many to talk about. So here's Macherie on another Macherie. This one, I think, is pretty much a easy skip for you. I mean, you have two major collaborations coming up, as well as a buttload of incredibly strong characters, Warrior of the Crystals, as well as potential Void-based characters in the future. All of that stuff just dictates a lot more saving than spending on Christmas units, and the Christmas units will probably come back. Stay with me on this one. At Christmas. The only unit that I really think is super good from a JP perspective anymore for the winter units is very much Winter Luartha. I mean, if I was just to pick one of the, or the one of the ones I think is the best, I honestly don't think that, you know, Venera or Victoria are that strong anymore in today's meta compared to just what some of the range is essentially pushing out nowadays. But that's not to say that they're bad either. Basically, I think that the winter unit should be a fairly easy skip for now, because it's just not necessarily worth it. But yes, took a break from the Zelda music, and again, please report me if you see any smilings in the videos. There is no smiles allowed. Are they gone? Are they gone? Nobody's watching the video anymore? Oh, good. Oh. That keep those SOBs happy for a while.